Well then, second match of today is going to be between two clanmates of Nyan Racing Cat and Simtom. So let's see how they will be doing. And they are going to be playing Oranos and Loki. Well, Simtom is a pretty known Loki, so there wasn't really any kind of thought of what he could be playing else. For Nyan Racing Cat, well, he is not a pretty skilled player. Let's say it, he's an expert, let's say it. Even more in team games, and he's going to be playing Oranos, even though he is lately quite proficient with Kronos. In the no patch, he is going to be picking Oranos, as Oranos is miles better in there because of the combination of the gods, the Valor, the Shockwave and whatnot. So yep, that's going to be an aggressive matchup here on Alfheim. Interesting to see, of course, and since this match hasn't been cast live, yeah, this is also going to be the first stream of that. So let's start, I guess. First we have a look at Simtom, who is having a start with chickens. That's unfortunate for him, even though he does see the hunt on the left side. So he probably opts for as fast advance as he can, which means that he doesn't want to waste the time of going from this side all the way to the left. But still, yeah, he maybe could have, especially because of the very nice hunt, or rather herd, which he doesn't know about, but he will soon because of the cowie. Just now we'll be discovering, come on. Yeah, he is right now. Shift click in there, and he knows that there's quite a lot of it, and he's also moving, a lot forward. Okay, so that was actually the game plan from him. He was hoping that he can find some hunt in the forefront, because he fully expects or knows that he's going to be under heavy pressure quite soon by his opponent Oranos, by Turmas and whatnot. So he needs to gather unsafe food as soon as possible, and in as big amount as possible, so that he can rely on the hunt at the very back in the stage after that raid-in. So that's a pretty nicely played and clever play on Simtom's part. So better building hit points in this relic, as you have seen that one of the hunters of his opponent Nyan Racing Cat has just been cast Spy on. And another relic is at the bottom, and that's for better building Crush Armor. Alright, that's not bad. Building Crush Armor and building hit points. If only this was some kind of map where we could be expecting some kind of booming, like with Egyptians or whatnot. But in this game, between two aggressive gods, that's probably not going to happen at all. Well, Simtom just now discovering where one of the oracles is. So just basically stopping his opponent from scouting freely and also making sure that he lets in some extra damage before this guy gets valored into a hero. Let's turn on the Fog of War to see how the map is all around Simtom. So far it seems to be pretty okay. This is a defensive TC. If if you ever saw one, easy, with a lot of extra hunt. Really a lot of it at the top. And this front EC is basically his, I think. It really seems like that it is his. It's kinda useless because it doesn't protect anything at all. It's just zero defensive position and importance for him overall. Basically just this one gold mine. But it could be also worth it, because if you place wall in here and in here, the whole quarter of the top map is going to be very free for the taking and might be important later in the game for a market about here to his main town center. So that's something not to underestimate. And as we are talking about trade, another relic is for caravan cost and speed, whereas the last one is for building LOS, yet again, a very important one that could be helping especially against raid-in and for raid-in. You can see that Simtom is definitely continuing with his game plan from the early start. Just trying to gather from food sources that are as far from his home base and as close to his opponent's home base as possible, and basically force him even Nyan Racing Cat back, as he doesn't want to engage in any kind of willy fight which could end quite disastrously for him. We are reaching 3.5 minutes, so we should be advancing, especially Nyan Racing Cat should be advancing as he's already having a temple. Should be clicking in after this villager as he's finished. But since there was quite a lot of walking time by this dude from this source to here, that's exactly why he is advancing a bit later than he would have liked. That's exactly those 7 seconds as he should have been advancing at like 3:30 that are missing in here, and why he's going to be late. So unfortunately for Simtom, this guy or rather Gal, that is under the spy, is not going to be all that useful as she is going into a bit of a defensive position next to the town center. That's not exactly what Simtom was hoping for, but what's also already a small victory for Simtom is that Nyan Racing Cat is not really going for it all that offensively, going for oracles next to his own base, and maybe it's because of these hunters, but I don't really think so. It's much more telling that he is not attempting any kind of full-on offensive and aggressive play, because he doesn't really believe that it could be all that successful. Simtom advancing at basically the same time into Force City. Already going for some of the relics, so that he has them and his opponent doesn't. Really pretty good set of relics, and yet another important part of the map to talk about is the town center in the middle. This is the front of Nyan Racing Cat, but it's basically between the players, and since we see right now Shockwave being cast at the bottom, let's have a look there. And that's, yep, that's well played by Nyan Racing Cat, but unfortunately it's not really going to be all that much successful. Maybe he's going to kill this one, really. Yeah, he is. But that's pretty much it. Now expecting that those Hersters might be coming after those oracles quite soon. But yeah, it is easy for him finally off the hunt, but it also means that Simtom has depleted a lot of food sources for his opponent, and that's a pretty clever strategy, and a very good one, as right now there's a lot of hunt for Simtom to actually gather from, even in his home base, which would allow him to basically have a much better economy than his opponent. Very good strategy, very good idea, and he is also trying to take down the towers and really going for it quite offensively, even though we might have expected that the Oranos might be the one with such an approach. And that's not the case in this game. Looking at some upgrades, not really much going on from Nyan Racing Cat, not anything in the economic guild either, whereas for Simtom, just antidotes as well. Okay, so nothing special as he's moving to the save hunt at the back. Basically right now is going to be trying to protect his villages as much as he can before he amasses enough army and gets enough mythical units to deal with the nuisances of the Murmilos and the Turmas and whatnot. Yeah, right now he needs to be careful about the units, because Murmilos are pretty strong against Hersters, because of the better stats and whatnot. You can see the difference in the armor, 20% hack armor, whereas Murmilos are having 34. So even though Hersters are having higher attack, 8.8 against 8 of Murmilos, yeah, the armor makes a lot of difference in large fights. So right now, be careful, Nyan, because you are fighting next to the army, or rather next to the military buildings of your opponent, which is definitely a pretty huge bonus, and on top of that, there's a bit of a healing by Healing Spring, and that's another spot where you want to find yourself in. Right now he's recognizing that, moving into two flanks, basically trying to divide the army of his opponent as well. But it doesn't seem like that Simtom would be falling for that, and he seems to be, oh, nicely played, stalling the opponent, but unfortunately didn't really work all that much. But this wall is going to be useful overall, so yep, that's definitely going to get finished. A bit of a raid with the troll at the back. Fortunately Simtom wasn't paying attention as much as Nyan Racing Cat was. So that didn't work out. But in the middle, not much really happening, as still, since Simtom has adopted so very aggressive approach at the very start of the game, this means that Nyan Racing Cat is the one basically on the defensive, and it's not having any kind of time to go for a raiding of his opponent, which is exactly what Simtom wanted to achieve, and he has achieved that quite nicely indeed. So army brewing inside the base of Simtom, getting ready for some kind of assault. But with gold running out, he needs to be careful. How much gold does he see? He doesn't know about the one at the bottom, fortunately for him, just in the darkness. Shame. But he does know about the one in the forefront, and that's going to be the next one that he's going to be very interested in somehow protecting. That's also why this wall is going to be crucial for him. If he can finish it next to here, it's going to be all that much more important. All that much more important, even outside of the battles for which it was built in the first place. Okay, so this attack from Nyan Racing Cat is not going to work out, but it actually might in the end, because that was a very nice maneuver by Nyan Racing Cat, as he was just trying to make sure that his opponent does make some kind of micro mistake, as he was hoping that he can micro his Murmilos at the back into all those Heresiers and kill them from behind. It was nice attempt, but unfortunately for him, it's coming back to bite him as the army is getting stronger, even by some mythical spawns from the Heresiers themselves. But army from Nyan Racing Cat is also getting stronger in here by the minute. And this is really aiming for some pretty big battle, and Lat Simtom is moving in for a kill for some decent Radiant, but he needs to find what to kill. So far he's trying to at least prevent Radiant on his own villages by going after the Turmas. Yeah, one Radiant Cavalry should be reasonably enough. Whereas he has just finished with the wall quite nicely, and if he can finish even with a wall here, which he knows about but should be finishing quite soon, it's going to be very safe position for him, and even he could go for the second TC at the back, or maybe even one for the forefront, because he is quite assuredly working quite nicely on it, and is just now discovering that Nyan Racing Cat was thinking exactly about the town center as we were talking about, as he sees that there's not going to be all that much Radiant for him, and he will be trying to jump into Heroic and hoping that he can kill his opponent with Nymphalian birds and such. Bit of a Radiant at the top, because of the missing wall exactly in here. And oh well, that's a shame. That's a shame because it seems that Nyan Racing Cat doesn't know about the hunt at the top. Oh well, he doesn't. He doesn't. Oh well. So that's a pretty huge lie. And Simtom didn't know about it, and unfortunately he just sent them into death's way. Oh well. Not good times for Simtom. But since the wall is in place, he's going to be reasonably safe. And can still play this, or rather play this, without any kind of problem. Well, this is not going all that well for Simtom, because he's trying to divide this army, out micro his opponent, but really he doesn't have the numbers for that, so he should be careful and make sure that he does have all the army at one place before he engages his opponent, as his opponent is doing a pretty good job with micro, and I think, from what I have seen, he is doing a better job of that so far. Oh, pretty strong reinforcements in the Prometheans. And with not enough Heresiers. There are some, but with proper micro, with the Murmilos and the Turmas, he could still be getting rid of them. And it's going to be a bit of a micro battle, really. As if he can keep the Prometheans alive, they are going to be pretty strong tanks against the throwing axemen and even the raiding cavalry in here. So we have heard from Nyan Racing Cat that he has just built his armory, and looking at his economy, he seems to be really aiming for the heroic age. But with Simtom just basically trying to occupy the map all around, with the walls basically containing his opponent at very limited quarters. Yeah, even the bottom quarter is not really cannot really be considered Nyan Racing Cat's territory. It's quite nicely played by Simtom in here in overall map control, as he is just now securing a lot of gold mines for himself, which should remain, or rather be quite enough for the times to come, and once he advances into the heroic age. And it seems like that he's actually going to be faster. Right now he is popped, so the resources should be just trickling in into his bank quite strongly and fast, with hand axe and pickaxe in researched, whereas for his opponent, oh well, nothing. Just nothing. That's a bit of a shame, a bit of a surprise, and might be making a lot of difference, because the economies, also looking at the points, seem to be quite similar overall. So Nyan Racing Cat right now trying to break through the walls. And he is also discovering that Wallin is coming up in the middle, and he needs to be careful about it. But Bragi is coming in for his opponent, for his Loki opponent, whereas Nyan Racing Cat is still not getting nearby, as he doesn't have enough resources in the food department. He doesn't have enough farms yet, and he has just run out of everything that he could be gathering for free, like berries and whatnot. So unfortunately for him, he's going to be much later into the next stage. That could be a pretty huge problem, especially looking at the army that Simtom is right now having, and attempting to steal the front ECO from him. Yeah, Nyan Racing Cat has broken through, but unfortunately all he can find is just a free tower fire. And we'll be waiting for the push with the flame weapons exactly right about now. He's already moving in. He's trying to force his opponent back, and flame weapons will be cast as soon as he advances, I think. And he could just as well go for the town center. Yep, here we go with the flame weapons. And since there's not much else, or rather not much elsewhere, where Nyan Racing Cat could be running, this is a pretty tough moment for Simtom, or rather for the blue player, as he will be facing a lot of mythical units, and especially the boars from Peak Sucker, for example, in here. As Templar is down, so not any kind of help if he advances into Heroic, which he won't be advancing. And yep, he's just waiting for the inevitable and for the piggies to make an appearance into the battlefield. So right now, there's a bit of a delay, rather dividing of the army of Simtom, but it's not really doing anything else, as yeah, flame weapons are the winning condition, and very nicely played and nicely controlled from the very start from Simtom. I really like the aggressive approach of the food sources, as you were just going for aggressive hunt in the middle, and then basically this was Nyan Racing Cat's hunt, and he depleted his resources, and that's exactly what decided the game, because at the time when Nyan Racing Cat wanted to advance into Heroic, he just couldn't, because he didn't have the farms yet, and he didn't have any other food source. Yep, that's exactly how important such an approach could be. So nicely played, and Simtom is leading 1-0. Let's have a look at the post game. Winning everything, just not economy. But he was playing against an Attis, so of course. But even through that, the difference wasn't really all that big. 1200. Whereas there's a difference 700 and 2.5. Okay, that's weird. That's really weird, because the difference in the gold, wood and food is much bigger, and the stock is much lower for Nyan Racing Cat. So I'm not exactly sure where he actually won that. That makes like 0 sense to me, but it might be because he was gathering it sooner or something. Not exactly sure. But in here I definitely don't see how he could have won it. But well, apparently he did. Maybe it's also because of some unspent resources or something like that, because that also makes a difference. And military count and unit skill ratio, not good for Nyan, not good at all. Quite a similar amount of military units, but much stronger for Simtom, especially because of mythical units. They are making usually a lot of difference in fights against Atlantean players. GG then.